So what is the Bajaj Pulsar P150 like to ride? Well, we can finally give you a full review of this bike after being under embargo for quite some time. Is the fact that this bike, when Bajaj said that they've reimagined and re-engineered everything, they are absolutely right. Everything is new on this bike. The chassis, the suspension, the engine, everything is better. Let's begin with the chassis first. The overall weight of the bike is 10 kilos lighter. 4 kilos of that come from the engine. This is in comparison to the older outgoing Pulsar 150, and the engine is based on the Pulsar N160, but the chassis is entirely new. So the suspension is also entirely new, and that lightness has helped it get a number of 140 kilos. 140 kilos for the single disc variant and 141 kilos for the twin disc variant. So that is still 10 to 11 kilos lighter than before. What that does is that has allowed Bajaj to play with the suspension. They now have more wheel travel at the rear, and the front is pretty much similar to the outgoing bike, but it is still higher, not substantially higher as the one at the rear. That gives it fantastic ride quality. We've gone over some really bad roads, and despite a very slim fork setup at the front and the rear suspension is of course a monoshock unit, it delivers brilliantly on ride quality. This is a very comfortable bike. Ride quality is excellent. At the same time, with all of that lightness, it might be 10 or 11 kilograms on the paper, but it almost feels like 15. It feels like 15 kilos lighter, if not 20, because it feels super light on its feet. At the same time, it's very planted. Because of that wheelbase, it's still 1352 mm. It's not 1340 like most of its rivals. That gives it excellent stability in the corners and on straight line. We did a top speed run where we saw 110 kilometers an hour, and bike was rock solid with a lighter rider or a heavier rider. So you've seen the photos on our website. We have both kind of riders in our team. The heavier one is me, the lighter one is of course my colleague, and we both agreed to that aspect yet again, that the stability is spot on, and ride quality is really good. Stability is excellent. At the same time, it feels very light, very precise. It feels nimble in the city. So riding in the city is an absolutely stress-free affair. What it also delivers is on the agility part. In the corners, it feels stable, and it corners really well as well. The rake is also on the tighter side, so that makes it turning in the corners also very well done, very well judged, and the agility is really nice. The nimbleness is good. The stability is excellent. The ride quality is good. The brakes, the tires are also good. The brakes, the lever bite is not very sporty, but the performance from the brakes is really, really good, both at the front and at the back. And this is of course a ABS equipped bike, so that's not to worry about. And what now, I told you about how good it is on the chassis part. Now let's jump to the engine, and like I told you, it is 4 kilos lighter than the previous 150cc Pulsar, that is the outgoing Pulsar, which will be discontinued in some time, maybe this month, next month, or in the next 3 months. That Pulsar is it has a 4 kilo engine lighter than the previous Pulsar. What that does is it makes it feel very light as well. The engine is very flexible, very torquey. Torque is available from 3000 rpm to 8000 rpm, so that makes it gives it a very results in a very flat torque curve. So you have power and torque all the time. We did not find any issue with the engine at all while navigating through city and while going on the highway. It performed really, really well. There was top end as well. Like I told you, we did 110 kilometers on a brand new bike. This bike has just under 100 kilometers on the odo, and it still delivered the 110 kilometer mark, which is very, very impressive. What is even better is the refinement. It's a single spark engine right now, but the refinement is surreal. There are no just a tinge of vibrations at the very red line. Most of the time there are no vibrations whatsoever. So this bike is going to be comfortable from the suspension part as well as on the engine part. Vibrations are not going to bother you at all. It's a very, very refined bike. The reason why it becomes even more easier to ride is the smooth gearbox and the light clutch that is on offer. So that makes riding in the city really, really stress-free with the old chassis package and with the highly refined engine, light clutch and light gearbox. Riding in the city is no issues whatsoever. On the highway, I told you, it can do 75-80 in no time, and that is what the speeds that you need. It can do 100-110 when you want it. It can cruise at 90-95. That's what the limit is. Despite it is tall geared, I think that's one of the reasons why it can still do 90-95. Most 150cc bikes will struggle after 80. This can still maintain something between 90-95. So that's a very, very good move. Getting the gearing right, getting the refinement right, getting the flat torque curve right. It's even got a Kickstarter for those guys guys who still believe in it and want it. Bajaj could have easily opted out of it despite it's a fuel injected bike and they're giving a kick. So that also is a part of the engine package where Bajaj has not skipped on anything this time, and that is what makes the Pulsar a really good bike. I told you the chassis part is sorted, the ergonomics part is sorted. It's a very comfortable bike from the engine side, from the ride comfort and suspension side. Riding it in the city on the highways, no problem whatsoever. If I had to find anything wrong with this bike, it would be the price. Of course it is in we've used to seen Bajaj offering fantastic value for money, over the top extra value for money, but then again this bike also is just 7,000 rupees cheaper than the Pulsar N160. We expected it to be little lower, but then again with the pricing of every single part is so high right now post the pandemic, and slightly before that also prices were going higher. You just can't make a bike that cheap anymore, and Bajaj is also offering value just like any other manufacturer, but not that extra value is the only criticism that I have. I am really impressed with what the chassis, suspension and the comfort that is. So thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Hit that notification bell, subscribe to our channel, like this video, comment if you want to ask anything, and do not forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching and goodbye.